Howdy, y'all. Thank you for joining us today for this unboxing of something I know a lot of people are excited about, Marvel Champions, the card game. This is the Mutant Genesis expansion. So this is going to be adding in the X-Men into the Marvel Champions card game, which one of my favorite games to play. So we're going to see everything that's in here. And basically, this is an expansion. So you will need the base game in order to play it, and you can see everything that's adding in here. So we already see what's going to be in here is going to be 2 decks already pre-made, ready to go, and it's going to have, we're going to go through the cards and at least show any of the new ones that are added in, which I'm expecting probably all new. I mean, they might have some older ones, maybe just new arts, we'll see. But we got Shadowcat and Colossus as the 2 characters that are inside this box. And you can see here that they're already pre-built, like I had said. And then it's also going to have, this is like a scenario box. It's something where you can just use these to play as a separate game with just adding in these bad guys and adding in these cards. Or you can play as a campaign going against, and then let you know some of the bad guys in there. Sabretooth, the Sentinels, Master Mold, the Brotherhood, and Magneto. And you can also, you don't have to use these characters. You can build your own deck with other characters, see if you go through this. But it's just interesting because this is going to be the introductory into the X-Men, along with the 2 decks. I have them all to the side, just can't reach them at the moment, but Cyclops and Jean Grey, which I'll do a separate video, or Cyclops and Phoenix, but I'll do a separate video showing the unboxings of those. With that, I already know this is going to be a long one, so enough of me talking. Let's get right into it. And like I said, I'll go through all the, at least some of at least their alternate, or their unique cards, and anything I recognize as new. And then we'll also probably take a closer look at some of the bad guys and whatnot. But you can see here's the book, and then it's got the new featured keywords here. If just in case you don't have, like, some of these already recognized from, they're in the game already. So these are just giving you, just in case you don't have some of the other expansions and what they add in. Actually, I don't know if I recognize any new. Maybe teamwork. And then we have victory, display, amplify, new rules. It lets you know the new rules right there. Let you know how the campaign mode will work. The campaign roles, and then expert and whatnot. And then we get to the campaign. You can see the first scenario is Sabretooth, and it always has a little story here, and then tells you how to set up everything and mix everything in. I'm not going to go through every page, that way it doesn't reveal anything throughout here, but it should be 5 scenarios, I'm assuming. Yep, 5 scenarios with Magneto being the end. And then the last part of the page kind of shows you the starter decks. Shows you what they are, so we can already see one is protection and one is aggression. So there's 4 aspects if you're new to this. The other 2 that aren't here are leadership and justice. So we got protection and aggression here, and then just the credits, and then the sheet for keeping track of the scenarios. But it's only showing 4. Well, I guess it makes sense. 4, and then you're doing the 5th scenario. That's the end of it. So cool. And you can see here we got the card packs. We got the 2 character decks. They come like this inside the hero packs, so they're already ready to go. And we'll go through that and each of their things. And then the rest of these should be the scenario / villain / bad guy packs. And we'll go take a closer look at these. I'll get zoomed in and take a closer look. I just wanted to show you everything in the box as it is here. And then you just got the insert. All right, let's take a closer look at these. All right, we'll start with the hero packs because they're going to be probably the longest one to go through because I'm not going to go through every single villain. But like I said, we'll go through the unique cards in here and kind of talk about them. So like I said, this is going to be a pre-built deck so that you can just straight play it like this if you want to. And it showed in the back of the book how to put it back together if you like the deck and you end up trying out other things, but you want to go back to this. So right off the bat here, we have Shadowcat here in her hero form. 2 in each of the stats. And then she has her selective intangibility, that while you are in phased mass form, Shadowcat ignores the guard and patrol keywords. Guard and patrol basically are just things that make it to where you have to, like guard is, you can't attack the villain unless you take out the person with guard, so she gets to ignore that. And any crisis icon. Crisis says you can't you can't do anything with the main scheme till you take care of the scheme that has crisis. She gets to ignore that because she can just phase through it. Makes sense. Decent ability. And then, of course, you have her alter ego side, which is Kitty Pryde. She has a recovery of 3. During the setup, put your mass form upgrade into play. Solid side face up. So I'm assuming it's going to be like Vision, where she's going to have an alternate form that she's going between. Phase control action, flip your mass form upgrade. So as an action, you can flip between... I just realized, I guess... Unless she has... I'm sure she has other cards in her other way, but flipping between her different forms? Because this is the one I was talking about. And we know there's going to be 16 unique cards to her. I guess I didn't mention that. So basically, this means that there's 16 cards that if you're going to play Shadowcat, no matter which of the aspects she's going into, she will have to have these cards into her deck. And then you can just build the deck. But no matter what, these 16 cards have to be included. And actually, it's only going to be 15 because this one don't count. But, all right. So I also did not mention, we're going back, she has a starting hand size, or starting hand size is 6, and hit points of 9, and then typical, so it's typically 6, and then hand size of 5 in hero form, so that makes sense. All right, so here's the card that goes straight into play, and it says it comes into play solid side face up, so it's actually going to start on this side, and you can see here, it's a mass form, it's a permanent, so it can't go away. It is an upgrade, so if you have something that has to do with upgrades. And then hero resource, exhaust this card, generate a physical resource for an attack or defense event. And then as a response, after you attack or defend in solid mass form, flip this card. So it's going to flip anytime you make that attack, or if you use that ability, I guess. And then this is her phased form, permanent, upgrade, yeah. While Shadowcat is defending, she cannot take damage. So she gets to defend from all the damage. That's pretty good, actually. And as a force response, after you attack or defend in phase mass form, flip this card. So it does have another way of just flipping, just depending on whether you attack or defend. And then, of course, if you're Kitty Pryde, you can flip into which one you need. So next, we're going to look at the other 15 cards, which are usually always included. And one of them is always, the first one is usually a unique ally, and what a unique ally to have is the one, if you know Shadowcat, you know Lockheed should be her ally. It is a 2 cost with 2 hit points. He can do a 1 thwart, 1 attack with 1 consequence damage on each of those. As a response, after Lockheed enters play, if you are in solid mass form, you deal 2 damage to an enemy. If you are in phase mass form, you remove 2 threat from a scheme. So, very helpful. And then we got Kitty's Room, a location. 1 cost support, alter ego action, exhaust Kitty's Room, and once again, if you're in mass form, you heal 2 damage. If you're in phased, or solid, I should have said 2 damage. Phased, you get to draw a card. Acute Control, 1 cost upgrade, hero response. After you ignore the guard or patrol keyword on a minion, exhaust Acute Control, deal 2 damage to that minion. Seems decent to start doing some extra damage. Then we have another upgrade here. It's a superpower. After you ignore the crisis icon on a scheme, exhaust intangible interference to remove 2 threat. So basically, if you're using her ability, they have one depending on what you're ignoring to add to extra. Seems pretty good. We have a 3 cost upgrade here. Hero form only, attached to an enemy. Max 1 per enemy. Oh, so I'm assuming there's going to be multiples of these. Forced interrupt. When attached, enemy would attack. Discard this card instead, then confuse that enemy. So basically kind of like a stun without being a stun. So I guess you could have this on there and a stun. Wonder if that would remove both. But you get 2 of those. And then we have Shadowcat Surprise, 2-cost event, hero action, attack, deal 3 damage to an enemy, and then ready your hero. And we have 3 of those. Phase Strike, 3-cost event, hero action, attack, deal 6 damage to an enemy. If you are in phase mass form, you may discard an attachment with the text hero action or hero response from that enemy. That could be really good against Rhino, getting rid of like the tough skin or his charge ability, or even Goblin or someone who gets a bunch of attachments. So, Phase Strike, 2 of those. 1 Airwalk event, or 1-cost event Airwalk, hero action, thwart, remove 2 threat from a scheme, 4 threat instead if you are in phase mass form. And 2 of those. And then we get Quick Shift, a 0-cost event. Hero Interrupt Defense. When an enemy attacks you, if you are in solid mass form, change to phased mass form, which is going to let you absorb all the damage. Or phased mass form, draw 2 cards. And there's 2 of those. Alright. So these are the cards you would have to have, and you would always play with them no matter what if you're in if you're playing Shadowcat, no matter what aspect you're in, like in this case she's aggression, and there's some other stuff we'll get to that you have to have also, which, oh yeah, it's here, her Nemesis stuff. It's going to be in the back of this. Alright, well, we see aggression, and we see usually every time you get one of these new decks, they always typically have a new ally in that thing, especially if it's going to be, I just don't realize that no leadership usually gives you a bunch of them. Now this may give us more, but we see here we get Wolverine as an ally, 4 cost, 4 hit points. He gets 1 thwart, 3 attack, but it's 2 consequence stars. And his attacks gain piercing, which means basically tough usually absorbs all the damage. Piercing will just ignore that. And as a response, after your turn begins, heal 1 damage from Wolverine. So if you're using a thwart, or just every other turn attacking, you can keep him up for quite a while, actually. Seems like a decent aggression. I always like the aggression allies. They seem like they're like the best in the game, but they usually are real expensive to bring out. We do have another aggression ally here that's new, Magic. 3 cost, 3 hit points, 1 thwart, 2 attack, with 1 consequence star on each of them. As a response, after you play Magic from your hand, spend a mental resource, I think that one is. Choose a non-elite minion engaged with an X-Men hero. Shuffle that minion into the encounter deck. And sorry if I got that wrong. I play Legendary and this a lot, and sometimes I get them mixed up, so I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's mental. Alright, we get another new card, Attack Training. It's definitely a new card. 1 cost upgrade, attached to an X-Men ally. Max 1 training upgrade per ally, and its attached ally gets +1 attack and +2 hit points. Be really good on Wolverine. And usually when they give you a new one, like with the allies, you can only have 1 because of that symbol there in play anyways. But typically when they give you the new cards, allies, they'll give you 1 new one, and then they'll give you 3 of the new card because you can only have 3 in the deck anyways. So there's the 3. We got Gatekeeper here, a 0-cost upgrade. It's a condition attached to a minion. Attached minion gets +2 hit points and gains patrol. Interrupt, when attached minion is defeated, remove 4 threat from the main scheme. I don't know how I feel about that one because, yeah, you defeat them, you're going to also remove threat from the scheme, but you're also giving them 2 extra hit points and patrol. Now, granted, she gets to ignore the patrol, so not sure how I feel about that one. I guess 0 cost, that's pretty good for 4 threat if you know you can do the damage to knock them out. So it's like a 0 cost remove threat. I don't know. Like I said, feels weird to me. Timing, I don't like the timing, weird timing things. But anyways, Team Strike, 1 cost event. It's an attack. Play only if your identity has the X-Men trait. Hero action, attack. Exhaust your hero and any number of X-Men allies. Deal X damage among enemies in play, where X is the total attack of the characters you exhausted this way. I think there's something pretty similar in the leadership, but it's a leadership one. And of course, 3 of those. All right. We have here toe-to-toe, 1 cost event, attack, hero action attack. Choose an enemy. That enemy attacks you. Deal 5 damage to that enemy. I actually kind of like that one. I mean, it's a lot of damage for 1. Granted, they're going to get to attack you, but if you are someone like Groot or someone who can absorb some damage. I think I built a Groot aggression, so that sounds like a decent one I'd want to try out in there. All right, this is what I'm curious to see if they're going to have new type of resource cards. Let's see. Aggressive Energy. Resource, max 2 per deck. Hero Interrupt. When you spin this card to play an attack event, that event deals 1 additional damage. That is definitely new. I think I kind of like it. Yeah. And it's that wild one, so if you go with an Aggression Nova deck or something, I can see some interesting stuff in there. All right, so that's going to be all the aggression cards. Next, we're going to see a bunch of basic cards. These are going to be cards that could be in any deck, but they don't count as any of the other aspects. So there's some weaknesses to that. And we're seeing here, we usually typically do see a new basic ally. And we're seeing Colossus here, which makes me think we're going to see Shadowcat inside of this one. But here we go. Colossus, 4 cost ally with only 3 hit points. 1 thwart, 3 attack with 2 consequence stars. Reduce the cost to play Colossus by 1 if your identity has the mutant or X-Men trait. So it can be good to just throw in any deck, but if you have that trait, I mean, a 3 for 3, they can thwart a lot, do a lot of damage. And he starts with toughness, so that means he can take a hit. So you can either attack for that 3 and absorb the 2 consequence stars right off the bat, or take a hit, vice versa. So I actually kind of like the idea of attacking for 3 and not losing any hit points. So that's 1 big swing in for 3. Seems pretty good. We got the X Mansion here for 2 support. It's a location. Alter Ego action, exhaust the X Mansion, heal 1 damage from a mutant or X-Men character. Any player whose alter ego has a mutant trait may trigger this ability. I like that actually. I mean, it only works against mutants and X-Men, but the idea that you can heal your guy or someone else, and it can also, if you're playing multiplayer, someone else can use their ability to be able to do it if they're in alter ego form. Kind of like that. I like it a lot. All right. Shadow and Steel. We had to figure this was going to have one in there. Probably one in here too, because you're going to need Colossus and Shadowcat. But here we got 2 cost event. Team up. Going to have 1 per deck. Hero Interrupt. Attack and or defense. When an enemy attacks, prevent all damage from that attack and deal 4 damage to the attacking enemy. Do like that one, but you got to have Colossus and Shadowcat out. Ready to Rumble. 1 cost upgrade. Condition. Play under any player's control. Max 1 per player. Hero response. After you change form, discard this card. Ready your hero. So it lets you do a double action. Kind of like it's pretty cheap for a 1. And you get 3 of those. Alright, so we're just seeing alternate arts on these, but that's fine. That makes it to where you can change up because it got kind of tiresome seeing these. So we got the energy, which is the basic energy. You're going to have 1 of, but it gives you 2 reflex. And then Genius just gives you the different. So these are the same card, and they have to have them have the same name. That way you can't have the strength one of this and the strength one with Hulk on it. So, but getting some alternate art's pretty cool. All right, so that's our whole deck. So if you did not have the base game and you just bought this, you just want to play with your friends, there's the deck. You can just play that deck and you're good to go. Next, we're going to see the cards that kind of you have. I mean, no kind of about it. You have to have these cards if you're playing Shadowcat. And the first one's her obligation. This is going to get given to the person putting together the encounter / villain deck. And this is going to get shuffled into it. And it's a thing that if it gets drawn by whoever it gets drawn by, it makes sure it goes to Shadowcat, and she has to go deal with it. In this case, permanently phased, obligation, give it to Kitty Pryde, like I said, and then flip your mass form, upgrade to phased. You cannot attack, defend, or charge or change mass form. So this is going to be on her, and it's going to lock her down until she can, as an alter ego action, exhaust Kitty Pryde, remove permanently phased from the game. But yeah, it's just going to lock her down until you can go to alter ego form and make sure that you exhaust her and do all the stuff. And then we're going to see the Nemesis, which just gets brought in with Shadows of the Past. And I've seen a Mysterio card inside the Mysterio side set. They can do this. But this will just be, you have to have this ready. And if that card hits you, it's going to tell you, put your Nemesis into play. And we see her Nemesis here, which is White Queen. And you can see 1 scheme, 1 attack, 5 hit points. Villainous, which means she gets boosted when she does damage or schemes. And then while White Queen is engaged with you, you are confused. I mean, you can never go scheme. Yeah, you can never go thwart, I should say, as long as she's engaged with you. So you need to take care of her. And then if it's flipped over as a boost, you'll just get confused. Okay. Also, when she comes into play, she'll bring in her side scheme, which is the Hellfire Club. When defeated, the player who defeated this scheme searches the encounter deck, discard pile, and set aside area for a copy of the Hellfire Pawn minion and puts it into play engaged with them. I'm assuming, yep, Hellfire Pawn. Shuffle the deck. Also going to accelerate the scheme, make it go faster, and also going to have 2 per player put to it with 3 threat boost. We got the Hellfire Pawn here, 1 scheme, 2 attack, 3 hit points, has the guard, patrol, and surge, which means it's going to flip another card also. And we got 2 Hellfire Pawns there. And then we have an attachment here, Telepathic Restraint, attached to your identity. While Telepathic Restraint is attached to your identity, you are stunned. You have to use an action and spend 2 of that mental resource to discard this card. So, alright. Well, that's all that. Sorry if I went a little too fast. I'm trying to speed this up because I already know this video is going to be long, but I also want to be able to go through these cards. And you can tell I haven't done this for a while because I'm going to take a little water break. So here we got Colossus here. And we can see here his hero form, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense, so 1 less thwart. But Colossus can have 1 additional tough status card, which is pretty decent because normally you're restricted by only having been able to get 1. So he can carry 2 of them on him. Steel Skin, as a response, after you change his form, give Colossus a tough status card. The protection in me. This is one of my favorite X-Men. I always liked Colossus all the way up until the whole thing where he went bad during the... I can't remember the name of the storyline, but yeah. Ever since then, I mean, I was kind of iffy both ways on him. But all before that, and when I was young, Colossus was one of my favorite X-Men. So I was happy to see this in there. And then we have 4 recovery, so he's got a little bit better recovery. During the setup, search your deck for a copy of Organic Steel and add it to your hand. And then Aspiring Artist, response, after you change to this form, shuffle a Colossus card from your discard pile into your deck. I'm going to assume it's going to be Organic Steel, but we'll see. So next we get his 15 cards, and we get Shadowcat, which would make sense considering the relationship stuff that they always had. And then we have a 3 cost, 3 hit points, 2 thwart, 2 attack with only losing 1 consequence star. It's pretty good. She ignores the guard and patrol keywords and any card. So it's her special ability. We're probably not, since we got it here, I don't see us seeing a basic Shadowcat here. But who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if there was going to be a basic for all the X-Men. Just maybe revealed at different times. And I'm expecting we're going to see the same thing with, I know I'm rattling on here, but it's just my predictions before I open them. I'm assuming we're going to see the same thing with Cyclops and Phoenix. Is the same way we're seeing Shadowcat and Colossus here, so be interesting to see if I'm right on that, but I just feel it's going to be so. But there's the ally, and then we have his studio here for 1 support, Alter Ego action, exhaust his studio, discard cards from your deck until you discard a Colossus card. Add that card to your hand. So arguably these, actually I don't think it's arguably, the 15 cards that you're putting in your deck, the ones that you have to have, are the best cards in the deck. That's the reason, in my opinion, you could throw cards in there, and I'm not saying they're not good. They're just usually too bogged down the deck that you kind of want to keep it right at 40 so that you can kind of get to these cards a lot faster. I want to keep an eye out. What was it? Was it Iron Will? Organic Steel. Duh, I should have thought about that because that's his power. Iron Will here, 2-cost upgrade. He gets +1 to his thwart, which will now make his thwart up to that 2. As a hero response, after a tough status card is discarded from Colossus, draw a card. I like that since you can keep getting those tough status cards. So it lets you just draw cards. This is a 2-cost upgrade. Going to give him, I was about to say, man, only a 2 attack. He has just as much of attack as Shadowcat? Well, makes sense. Titanium muscles. Gets +1 attack. Hero resource. Exhaust this card. Generate a strength or physical resource for each tough status card on Colossus. Seems good. 2-cost upgrade. Here's that organic steel you get to go get. I'm guessing maybe there are going to be extras. I don't know. But you get to go get this right off the get-go from his setup. Oh, I didn't even talk about that. What was his hit points? Man, I just kind of skipped over that, didn't I? You can tell I haven't done one of these for a while because it has been a bit since they've done one of these. So his starting alter ego, hand size 6, hit points 14. That's something to laugh at. As a matter of fact, the Spider deck had a bunch of cards that if your hit points were 14, you get to add them in. So it'll be interesting to see if those are in here or if you can mix those and do some cool stuff with them. Now his hand size does dip down to a 4, which, seeing the way he beefs up, I can see that. You need to go down to that 4, unfortunately, I think. You know what, I'm going to keep him over here to the side because I keep going to reference him. Anyways, let's get back to this. 2-cost upgrade. Uses means it's going to put 2 counters on here, and then once those counters are gone, this card gets discarded. As a hero response, after a tough status card is discarded from Colossus, exhaust this card and remove 1 steel counter from it. Give him a tough status card. Wow. Yeah, I'm really liking this. The protection player in me wants to play this really, really bad. And he's a protection deck, which means we're going to see some new protection cards. Really cool. And we got 2 of them. Very nice. Made of Rage, a 0-cost event. Hero Interrupt. When you make a basic attack, discard a tough status card from your hero. You get +6 attack for that attack. And it gains overkill. Wow. Yeah, I want to play this. Which will be interesting, I think, and I know I'm rambling again on this. One of the things I found interesting is every time when they make one of these boxes or they release 2 characters together, the one I'm looking forward to the most ends up being the one, I'm not going to say I dislike them, but the one I wasn't looking forward to playing ended up being the funnest character to play. So in this case, but we know Colossus, I was looking forward to it. And I should have made that prediction before looking at this. I don't know. With all these cards I'm seeing here, I do not see Shadowcat being so much fun that I just enjoy playing it. I think, especially since you win aggression. Aggression is not my play style. I think it's going to be that time it breaks that mold. And I'm going to go ahead and make the prediction now before even looking at the Cyclops and Phoenix. The one I'm looking forward to playing the most right now is Cyclops. I've just never been a Jean Grey Phoenix fan. Not really a huge Cyclops fan either. Just if I have to choose between those two, since they put them out together, I have to choose Cyclops. But anyways, back to what y'all are actually watching here. Steel Fist, 2-cost event. Attack, superpower, hero action attack, deal 5 damage to an enemy. You may discard a tough status card from your hero. Stun and confuse that enemy. So what I'm liking about this is, man, the protector in me wants to keep those tough statuses on here. But, man, if you can just find, you get the option. So I can leave it there for defense, or I can use it to do damage or stun or confuse. I'm loving the idea of that. Man, you got 3 of these. 0-cost event, bulletproof protector. Superpower, hero action. Discard a tough status card from your hero and choose. You can give your hero 2 tough status cards or ready your hero. I mean, I guess situational, because I think I'd always use it to get the 2 stuff, but maybe you need to ready your hero so you can do an extra attack and do a whopping lot of damage. And I like that they got Wolverine in here. It'll be interesting to see if they have some combo card with Colossus and Wolverine, since they always did the fastball special where he would throw Wolverine, but we'll see. And I might have even misnamed that, but I'm pretty sure it was called the fastball special. Armor up, 0 cost event. Alter ego interrupt. When the villain activates, change to hero form. Pretty cool. You can go into his alter ego form. And basically, I guess as long as you didn't recover. Well, no, yeah, you can recover, get some hit points. You're going to unexhaust already at the end of your turn. And then now you can play this card. And if the hero's going to attack someone, you can all of a sudden change the hero form and defend for someone or defend for yourself. Yep. Definitely want to play this. Really looking forward to it. Oh, alright. I know this is probably going to make people hate me as I say it. But we knew they were going to make it. Here we got Nightcrawler. I'm not a Nightcrawler fan. I don't dislike Nightcrawler. I'm just not a Nightcrawler fan. Not as much as others are. But here we are. But I mean, let's see. Maybe this be thrown in my protection deck. Just I don't dislike him. I just I don't understand the fanboy them. But then again, I'm fanboy on Colossus, so maybe who knows. 3 cost, 2 hit points, 2 thwart, 2 attack with 1 aggression, 1 consequence star each. That's pretty good. Not gonna lie, but only 2 hit points. I'm not very happy about that. Interrupt. When an X-Men character would take any amount of damage from an enemy attack, spend a reflex resource. Actually, I think it's an energy, sorry. Pretty sure it's energy. I think reflex is in legendary. Resource, and return Nightcrawler to your hand. Prevent all of that damage. Actually, I do kind of like that. I don't know if I like it in this deck. I mean, I guess it'd be cool so you don't have to defend. But I'm hoping you can keep the toughness up. But I could think of some decks where this could be really cool in the protection decks, because you're going to have that resource to spend, and it makes it to where, like, I can think about my Captain America one where I wanted to do a lot of damage because of what was in my hand, so I can have him out there, return him to my hand if he was going to die anyways, because I got him down to 1 hit point. So bring him out, do some damage. Not bad. Not bad. Polaris. 3 cost, 3 hit points, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 1 consequence star each. As a response, after Polaris enters play, give an X-Men character a tough status card. Do you like it in this deck? Like it in any deck, actually. I like the 3 for 3. It's going to give you a tough status card. You're going to get 3 attacks and possibly 6 damage. Seems good to me. 1 cost upgrade. Protective training. Training attached to an X-Men ally. Max 1 training upgrade per ally. Attached ally gets plus 3 hit points. I don't know if I like it in my deck. I mean, 3 hit points. That's also a 3 heal. It's cheap. So it's like 1 cost to give someone 3 hit points. Yeah, it might be a good 1 or 2 of. I don't know if I 3, but they give you 3. So if you want that option, seems good. Alright, 2 cost event. Powerful punch, hero interrupt, attack and or defense. When an enemy initiates an attack, deal 4 damage to that enemy. That can be pretty good against a minion, or the last punch to take, yeah, like I said, powerful punch. Because it says when an enemy initiates an attack. So it could be if you're about to get knocked out and they're bringing it in, or that minion, you don't want to take the damage. I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah, you would have to defend. No, it's just a defense card. It doesn't say when you defend, so they initiate an attack, especially a minion. You pay 2. They initiate it. You just knock them out before they even do damage. Yeah, I like it. Like it a lot, actually. The more I think about it, I can think of some situations. And then if not, oh no, you still have to wait for them to initiate the attack. But if not, it basically just lets you do it, the attack to the villain, even if you're not going to knock them out, just on their turn. So it's the same thing as playing the aggression card. Yeah, I like it. The more I think about it, I like it. Bait and switch. One cost event. Hero action thwart. The villain attacks you. Remove 4 threat from the main scheme. With him, that's beautiful. Or like with Captain America, where you have retaliate, you're getting toughnesses, or you're able to reduce a bunch of damage. I do like this bait and switch a lot, actually. And remove 4 threat from the main scheme. Yeah, I like those. Those are good. Perseverance, 1 cost event. Tactic, hero response. After you change form, give your hero a tough status card. So when you change form, you would just play it real quick. No, I like it still. Even just 1 cost. Still like it, just not as strong as my brain first initially read it. Mutant Protectors, 1 cost event. Defense, play only if your identity has an X-Men trait. Hero Interrupt, defense. When an enemy attacks, put an X-Men ally into play from your hand. Exhaust it and declare it the defender for this attack. That makes that Nightcrawler card even, and hence they got Nightcrawler on it. That makes that, I guess, to give your brain to make you think that's a good card. I mean, it's a good card either way, but. Alright, we got the new defensive energy here. This also, now to think of it, they gave us the aggression, they gave us the defense, or the protection. I'm assuming Cyclops, but I'm going to call Cyclops as a leadership deck so we can get the new leadership cards. And I'm going to call Jean Grey as the Justice so we can get the new Justice resource. But they might not. They might wait and introduce those in the others. Because I'm assuming Wolverine, he's got to be aggression. He has to be. There's no way they're going to release a Wolverine that's not aggression. But I'm going to be funny to see if I can't build. I know, I'm rambling. I should stop. But I'm going to be funny and do stupid stuff. Probably take a Wolverine and try to do a protection deck or something stupid with it. And just see what I can do with it. But defensive energy, resource, max 2 per deck. Hero Interrupt. When you spend this card to play a defense event, draw 1 card. So we're probably going to, the other one said when you did an attack card, draw a card. Probably going to see something when you play an ally, draw a card. And the Justice one would probably be when you thwart, draw a card. Or when you play a defense event, draw a card. Alright. Well, we already saw Shadowcat, so we knew the basic probably wasn't going to be Shadowcat. But we do get Professor X here. Which is kind of surprising, I think, in my opinion. I would have expected to see him in the Jean Grey or Cyclops. But here he is. 3 cost. And I'm actually expecting to see a basic for all the X-Men. Just like they did with the Guardians. So 3 cost, 3 hit points, a 3 thwart. So you're going to get 9 thwart out of him. I kind of like that. Now you'll get any attack out of him, but 9 thwart's pretty good. Force response. After Professor X enters play, choose one. Confuse the villain, stun a minion, or ready an X-Men character. At the end of the round, if Professor X still plays discard. Ah, that's why. You're not going to get 9 out of him. Haha. So he'll be able to block, I guess. But you're going to get 3. So you're going to pay 3. You're going to get 3 thwart out of him. You're going to confuse, stun. So he's like the new Nick Fury. I think Nick Fury's almost a one of, almost in any deck. Almost any deck. There's not every deck I'd put him in. But just because of I play Toolbox, I like the Toolbox feel, and this gives you a little bit of that Toolbox feel. It's just more hinging upon just the X-Men, which makes sense because it's Professor X. So, not bad on having another Nick Fury type card. The X-Jet, 3 cost support, resource, exhaust the X-Jet, generate a wild resource for a player whose identity has the X-Men trait. So only good if you have the X-Men trait, but I mean, tap and give you a wild resource. Oh, only one of because of the unique. There's a Shadow and Steel. We knew it was going to be in there. And then we get the Energy, Genius, Strength. And that's the deck. Alright, so now we see his obligation, homesick, give to that player. They may flip to alter ego form. Choose to either exhaust him to remove this from the game or discard this card, which means it could come up again, and each tough status card from your identity. If you discarded no tough status cards this way, this card gains Surge. So most time you're just going to exhaust him and get rid of the card, but I guess situational. Oh, wow. Man, talk about a Nemesis. Makes sense, but talk about a Nemesis to put up against him. Here we go. We got the Juggernaut. Ooh, 8 hit points and 1 scheme, 4 attack. Stalwart, which means he cannot be stunned. Right? I'm pretty sure it's cannot be stunned. I'm almost positive. It's either can't be stunned or confused. I'm almost positive it's stunned. But toughness, so he's going to have a toughness on him. Gonna need that piercing. If this activation is an attack, oh, this is talking about the boost. That gains overkill. Yep, the Juggernaut. Big old boy. Here's his side scheme. Rampaging Juggernaut. When revealed, discard each tough status card from each friendly character. Place 2 threat here for each tough... Ooh, that's really bad if it comes out with Colossus, because you're going to be trying to pile on those tough status cards. And I think my Groot deck would be pretty dangerous with him. If someone's playing Colossus, of course. That's the only way this would come out. But, attachment, Unstoppable. Attach the enemy with the highest printed attack without a copy of Unstoppable attached. Otherwise, this card gains Surge. When an attached enemy attacks, the attack gains Overkill and Piercing. At the end of this attack, discard Unstoppable. I think there was something in here that got rid of the attachments. I think it was Kitty, though. So, definitely want to get rid of that. And there's 2 of them. Makes sense because he's unstoppable. He's the Juggernaut. And then we got his Slammed. Treachery. When revealed, you are stunned. If you're already stunned, take 2 damage. And then, if this gets put up as a boost, reveal this card, which is going to stun you. Ugh. Woo. I mean, I liked a lot of his stuff, but man, that Shadows of the Past comes out, that Juggernaut's going to be brutal. Brutal. All right, let's try to get through these quickly. I am probably not going to go through each of these, just because I know this video's already long enough. I know, and I rambled and wasted time. But I'm just going to kind of just pander over the things we want to see. I'm just going to make sure this is in order. Yep. So it'll open up like all these. So these are probably in order of the scenarios. But that's only if you're playing in the scenarios. Normally it's just going to add you some villains. And there's stuff that's going to be put into the encounter deck. Their encounter stuff so that you have to deal with that stuff. So here right off the bat here we got Sabretooth Stage 1, 1/2. 1 scheme, 2 attack. Force response after Sabretooth activates against you. Discard the top card of your encounter deck and heal damage from Sabretooth. Equal to the number of boost icons discarded this way. So he's going to just regenerate. Sabretooth Stage 2. Looks like he's got the same boost, toughness. I mean, I'm going to read. I just don't want to waste time. But it just sounds like he's still going to be regenerating. But now he's got the 2 scheme, 2 attack. And then now he's got Retaliate. Oh, he just added Toughness. Now we have Retaliate 1, Toughness, an extra attack. After Sabretooth that activates against you, heal him. And then we're going to have his main scheme. Oh, and I didn't show it, but he's going to have 17 cards here against what you're going to have to deal with. We're going to have his main scheme. I'm not going to go over each of his main schemes here. But you see 1A here. Stalked by Sabretooth. So it looks like Robert Kelly, which if you know the story in the comics, his scheme is he's going to be going after Robert Kelly here. And if Robert Kelly leaves play, you lose the game. But he's going to do his first scheme and then the injured senator. So that means he found him because it said stalked by the senator, the Sabretooth. And if he pulls that off, he's going to the injured senator, which means he's trying to defeat Robert Kelly, which would make you lose the game. So, makes sense. And then we got the rest of the cards for his 17 cards. We've already seen 5 of them, so we're going to see the other 12, which is a side scheme. Find the Senator. Then we have Robert Kelly here, which sounds like he's going to just come in. Sounds like he's going to be in the deck. He's going to be trying to find him. Then he's going to try to knock him out. And he's going to be an ally, so probably puts him into play. Yep. The first player controls Robert Kelly. He does not count against your ally limit and cannot have player cards attached. When an enemy resolves an undefended attack against you. So you're going to have to defend you're always going to have to defend. Because if you don't defend attack against you, then or someone's not blocking, they're always going after Robert Kelly. So it's basically making you have to defend all attacks coming in. Okay. And then we got some attachments here. His Adamantium Claws, Animal Ferocity. Like I said, I'm not going to read through each of these. I'll try to pause on each of them so that you can kind of read over them and what they do. Sabretooth Strikes. Unrelenting Savage. There's 3 of these, it looks like. And then we have another side scheme, Medical Emergency. And it looks like we have 2 of those. And then the last card in his thing, Feral Rage, another side scheme. Get my big thumb out of the way. Or not really my big thumb, just get my sausage out of the way. There we go. Alright. And here we have probably his, I always call these side encounters, but it's basically one that's going to mix into the deck also. But these can be ones that can mix into other decks, even if he's not the villain. And we got the Brotherhood here. And we see there's going to be 8 cards. So we got Avalanche, one of the Brotherhood. We got the Blob. Nothing can stop the Blob. We got Pyro. And Toad. And then we got Homo Superior. It's a condition attachment. 2 of those. And then we have Mutant Terrorists. And then usually every side encounter has a side scheme. And this one just looks like it's going to beef up the Brotherhood of Mutants and be annoying. Oh, we have another little side encounter thing here. Mystique. And there's going to be, this is going to mix Mystique herself into, if you want to. It's going to mix it probably into his deck. And then if you just want to mix Mystique in, so if you're going against Rhino, you can have Mystique and Rhino kind of in there. And what I'm going to do, I know I'm going on a side thing again, but just to let you know, if you want to watch for a video, I am going to play Colossus, and I am going to play, I kind of already hinted at, Shadowcat on unchanging these decks, playing them exactly the way that they came in this. And I'm going to play them against Rhino. But what I will do, and I like to do it against the starter one because these are kind of these starter decks. And I'm going to play them against Rhino. I guess I should do them against one of these villains, but actually with Flavor I'll probably do it against one of these villains. But I'll definitely make sure it's one of these side schemes. I probably won't do the scenario. I'll probably just do a random side scheme. Or I might do Rhino. We'll see. I am getting tired of fighting Rhino, so I probably won't. I'll probably do one of these guys. We'll see how I feel that day. But anyways, we got Mystique here. You can see everything about her. I've had her on camera for a while. 9 hit points. That's mighty. And toughness. Ooh. And then we got Metamorphic Mayhem as her side scheme. And then Infiltration as a treachery. It looks like we got 2 of those. And then we have Shapeshifter Surprise. I'm just going to try to freeze on these to where you can pause and read the card if you want. Alright, we got the Sentinel. Alright, so we're going into the next thing probably. Here's a new villain set. We got the Sentinel. And it lets you know how many hit points are going to get per. And I did not go over those with Sabretooth. It's 13 on stage 1, 15 on stage 2, and 18 on stage 3. And we can see here 16 on stage 1 with the Sentinel. He's got 24 cards. You can see everything there. I'm just going to try to speed these up a little bit and not try to talk about each of them, but at least freeze enough to where you can kind of read over them. And then we can see the main scheme here. Night of the Sentinels, Operation Zero Tolerance gains permanent. I'm assuming that's one of their side schemes maybe. Oh, nope, probably this. So he's only got one side scheme. So I got to figure out where Operation Mutant Tolerance is. Probably adds it in. Yeah, it tells you what to add in here on the back. But we got Mutants at the Mall. If you've watched the first episode of X-Men, I think 90s, you'll see Mutants at the Mall makes sense. When defeated, the first player searches the encounter deck. So, And then we have Jubilee here. So I'm assuming they're going to be hunting these is what's going to be happening because we got Richter here as an ally. Yep. We got Richter as an ally. It's going to probably be getting hunted down. We got Boom Boom here as an ally. It's going to be getting hunted down. What I find interesting, I wonder about this, because I saw it in another one. I know, another sidetrack. So these are all saying it's part of these. But I wonder if you can't play with these in your decks. I mean, it's got everything like you could. So I'm curious if you couldn't play with these in your deck, which would be interesting if you can. Because it would make it to where they don't have to redo all these. I haven't found anything that says you can't. So this gives you a look at these cards. Here's Boom Boom if you want to add her in. Decide to check the back on that one. Here's Cannonball. Here's Wolfsbane. So the New Mutants. And then we got Sentinel Mark IV here. We got 2 of those. Gauntlet Beam Attachment. 2 of those. Learning AI. Adaptive Armor. Give them a bunch of hit points. We got the Self-Repair, Treachery. Mutant Detected. Warn the Others. Abduction Protocols. And we got 4 abduction protocols. I mean, main protocols, so that side scheme's just going to be getting out there, huh? All right. And then, so Zero Tolerance. It mentioned about Zero Tolerance. It's one of the side things. And I guess that's why it said you have to put Zero Tolerance in there on the back of the thing, because then you're going to go and get the Zero Tolerance side scheme it mentioned in here. But here we go. We got to have 7 cards in here. And it's Sentinel Mark II. 2 of those. Sentinel Mark III. 2 of those. Energy Barrier. 2 of those. And then we go into the new stack. That's the reason I want to speed through this, because it's already getting, I know, long on this video. And my voice ain't going to hold up, unfortunately. I got to get used to doing these longer videos. There's the Operation Zero Tolerance that you're going to put into play. But, alright. And then we have just the Sentinel side encounter. And there's 7 of those. And it's got Sentinel Mark V. 2 of those. Sentinel Mark IV. 2 of those. Targeted for elimination. 2 of those. And then Relentless Robots. And then we get into the next villain you're going to see here. We got Master Mold, Stage 1. And there's going to be 18 cards in that stack. And then we got Stage 2. Stage 3. And I'm kind of looking on the side. And if I see a double-sided, I'm kind of showing you. Alright, we got the Sentinel Factory here with the setup. And then you can see what the first main scheme is going to be for them. And then if they pull that off, you're going to go into this second one. There's all the setup for it. And then you see here that if they pull this scheme off, you win. It's Master Mold's agenda. And then we're going to look at the other cards. We get Sentinel Mark 8 here. Oh, the 8 hit points. Ugh. And there's 2 of those. Unit Upgrade. Man, if you're playing with all these Sentinels where you're just able to upgrade the Sentinels that are out in play, and then you get all these different Sentinels, gets ugly real fast here. We got Stun Beam here. 2 of those. Master Mold's Children. 2 of those. Shields Up. 2 of those. And then Intruder Alert. Yeah, I just realized that Jubilee, because you can't put that in a red sleeve, because it was double-sided. The others had the blue back, which definitely makes me think they go into your deck. That makes me think, I know, I just talked about wasting time, and then now I'm going back. I want to see if the Robert Kelly, it's in a blue. So maybe something puts the, I bet you if you go look at that first one, it tells you to put Robert Kelly into play. Does that mean you could put, I mean, I don't know why you would, but could you put Robert Kelly in your deck then, since it has the blue back? I mean, I don't know why you would, so I don't know. Anyways, insert the virus program. And then 2 of those. All right. So this sounds like kind of oh, my brain ain't wanting to work on it. The bad guys for Thor, where you had multiple villains in play, and it was Wrecking Crew. Sorry, the Wrecking Crew. So this sounds like it's going to be like the Wrecking Crew, probably, with the Brotherhood of Mutants. So you're probably going to have all of these guys in the play. So you're going to have to be dealing with them all at the same time. So you got Avalanche here. His A and B side. You got Blob. Because nothing can stop the Blob. You got Pyro here. I don't know what this Victory 2 stuff is. I guess it's going to have to do with their scheme, probably. And then we got Toad. And then we have the Brotherhood Strikes. And there's all their setup. Yeah, put them all on their A side. Use their B sides if you're playing in expert mode. And it tells you to put one modular set Mystique in here. With her whole 9, I think it was. Ugh. And then the Brotherhood Strikes. I don't have an acceleration. And then the next scheme. The Atrium. These just say flip the card. Well, they both said, one said 2A, 2B. One if you're playing on expert, one if you're not, I guess. And there's the other side of that one. And then flip this card. They all say flip. Well, I noticed it said, yeah, if there are 3 main schemes in the victory display, the players lose the game. So I guess they have a way to pull off victory conditions, to pull off these main schemes. So they're just attacking, trying to knock you out, and I'm assuming they get stuff for doing damage to you or just doing bad things to you. Alright. I do like the way these look. Well, they just look different on the all of them. I'm just a dummy. I guess the black and yellows attracted me, whatever. Alright. We got, like I said, we're going to see, I didn't show 25 cards in their deck altogether. We've already seen 9 of them. Here's Save the School Environment. We have the Brotherhood Beatdown. And there's 3 of those. We have the Groundswell. 2 of those. Immovable. Probably going to be 2 of those for Blob. I'm about to say Pyromaniac or Flame or something for Pyro. 2 of those. And then Hopping Mad for Toad. With 2 of those. And then we're going to see some side schemes. Protect the Students. And we got 2 of those. And then Under Siege for the last 2, I'm assuming. And then we get into another one of my favorite characters. I think a lot of people's. And probably the last villain in here. We got Magneto here. And I'm sure he's going to be a beast. There's everything about him there. Just look at that. Take in that greatness. And then we got... There's his stage 2. His stage 3. Yep, Asteroid M. There's all the setup. Asteroid M there. Pulls that off. Factory Online. Turning on Master Mold. The Rule of Magnus. Oh, maybe he's control. Yeah, it makes sense. He gets Master Mold to build the Sentinels so he can use them. The Rule of Magnus. Alright. So we are going to see, we've already seen 6, so we're going to see 24 more cards of the 30. We got Boarding Party here. Oh. Our Sabotage Master Mold. Orbital Decay. I don't know why that side scheme's double-sided. See, this one is too. Interesting. I'm assuming it'll tell you how to do all that. M-type Sentinel. Alright. The Magneto type Sentinel. I'm assuming we're going to see a bunch of side stuff. M-type Sentinel. 3 of those. Actually, I think that was 4. Yeah, 4 of those. Magneto's helmet. Gotta have that in the game. Magneto's armor. Magnetic bubble. It's interesting how they decided, I know, longer, how they decided to do the X-Men abilities, because they're not always active. I guess it's just using your powers and then make it too strong if they always had a power that's always active, I guess. Attached to your identity, max 1 per identity. Anyways, wrapped in metal. This wraps you up in metal. The Master of Magnetism. And we got 1, 2, 3 of those. Electric Shock. 2 of those. Electromagnetic Blast. 2 of those. Metal Shards. 2 of those. Magnetic Missile. 2 of those. Magnetic Mayhem Side Scheme. Magnetically Sealed. Seized. Alright. And, yep, so we can see some side ones. Here we got the Acolytes. We got Fabian Cortez. Amelia Vaught. Sinyaka. Delgado. Unishin. Or is that Unishon? Unishon? I'm going to say Unishin. Unishon? I don't know. Zeal for the Cause. And then we have the side scheme of the Acolytes. Alright. Then we get into Future Past. With old Nimrod here at 9. Stalwart. Victory 1. Guess that's one of the new ones. I just didn't notice it. Nimrod cannot take more than 3 damage each phase. Oh man, that means he's going to be around. Then we have Bastion. 10. Ugh. Then we have Nimrod's Portal. Bastion's Machinations. And then Nano Sentinel Tech. Alright, now we actually get into the campaign stuff. It says there's 5 campaign cards. We got the Frightened Police. I wonder if this means these are always active? I don't know. It is double-sided with the Metro PD here. And then we have Enemy of My Enemy. So Magneto might be helping you? Probably not before he becomes the villain. Find the Prisoners. Makes sense if you think about the comics. Probably going to help you defeat Master Mold and Sentinels, and then find the Prisoners side scheme. Rescue Captives. We got the Surprise Attack here. With reactive defenses. So it looks like you pull off the side scheme, it's going to give you this other side. Got Magneto's Fortress here. Yeah, it says flip this card. And then you get Magneto's Power. But that looks like that goes on to Magneto. That don't seem good. And then I noticed it said something about choosing your type. We're seeing Brawler here, and there's 5 Brawler cards. So maybe these are going to upgrade depending on what you chose. I noticed it on the back of the sheet. So we got Brawler here. Coup de Grace, I mean. And then Swagger. Brazen Defense. Ferocious Attack. along with Warcry. Oh. These look like they're going to be the same. Is it the same? Yeah, it looks the same to me. Maybe it's got one card that's going to be different. See Commander. Yeah, because we didn't see Compassion. So I'll try to find the different ones from each. So right now we see with the Commander, we have Compassion. That's well, nope, that one's different too. Group Assault. Shock and Awe. And Improvisation. So maybe just Coup de Grace. Nope. I guess they're just going to share some of the cards. Because there's Swagger, which we saw in the Brawler. And then we get Surprise. This is the Defender. Heroic Intervention. That's going to be kind of weird if they just have the Brawler is repeated and only has one unique card. You got the Determined Defense. And the Bodyguard. Yeah. And then we see... Oh no, Surprise was in one of the other ones. Yeah. Surprise was in one of the other ones. Alright. We got the Peacekeeper here. And he's got Compassion. So they share multiple different other cards and others. Rescue Operation. Mentorship. And Fortitude. Alright. I know that was long. And I know I cut it out and went faster through all this other stuff. Probably even edit out a bunch of stuff and just get into it. We'll see. I'll try to keep as much of it as I can. I just didn't want the video to be super long. And I know now I talk a lot more through a lot of these. So that ends up making these all take forever. But you can see here, that's all the campaign cards that you're going to get. Which is about almost 200 cards there alone just for the campaign, bad guys, stuff like that. And then, of course, you're going to get the 2 decks. So if you're into the X-Men... This is a cool way to get into it if you haven't already. If it's if you've already gotten into the game, this looks like it's going to be awesome. We will do a video where we'll play these guys against. I'll find out if I'm going to do Rhino or just do one of the villains there. I like to do the Rhino because then some of these decks, they just seem basic, but maybe I do against Sabretooth or... I know I probably don't want to go against Magneto and just get stomped, so it'll most likely be Rhino. We'll see. But also, because I also feel like I don't want to be learning too much. A lot of the villains, they're a whole new learning experience. So it always seems like it's a new thing and have to learn all that while trying to learn the deck and the way that character should be played in general. But that's what's nice about the game. Anyways, enough rambling. I'll let y'all go on this one. It was long enough. We'll get into the opening the Cyclops and the Phoenix and see what they're about. But other than that, thank you for watching and have a great day.